Hello, I am Rajkumar, senior lecturer in civil engineering. I am going to deliver a lecture on building stones. First of all, we go on for introduction. Stone is a natural material of construction. Building stones are obtained from a quarry in integration of rocks. Man has been using stones from very ancient times for constructing foundation, walls, pillars, lintels, beams, floors, roofs, etc. of buildings, and also for major engineering work such as weirs, dams, etc. Ancient temple and other important historical buildings in India and abroad were built with red stone. The Secretariat Assembly buildings and Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi are built with pink and grey sandstone. The Taj Mahal at Agra, the Victoria Memorial in Calcutta are built with marble. Natural material of construction which is obtained from rocks by any suitable method is called a stone. The stone which is used for construction of engineering structure is known as building stones. Stones when derived from rocks are very irregular in shape and size. They are therefore dressed for proper bedding, thin joints and speedily construction. Stone possess long lasting property and is natural available in large quantity. It is therefore considered as one of the most and popular important engineering material of construction. The art of cutting and bring it the stone at the required shape and size for their use in structure is called dressing of stone. Nowadays, brick utility of stones. Nowadays, bricks in mortar and concrete are replacing stone as a building material almost everywhere, because good building stone are not easily and cheaply available in all parts of India and are difficult to handle due to their heavy weight. Moreover, they are costly in construction as they involve heavy transportation and dressing charges. They used is therefore restricted to the construction of heavy and permanent engineering structures such as dam, dock, harbor, lighthouses, abutment, piers and of bridges. Their use is also recommended for building work in hilly area where a good quality of stone is easily and cheaply available. Stones are being commonly used as an aggregate for concrete, as slab for paving floors, as flags for paving street, as basalt in railway tracks, as road metals. Then is types of rocks. First of all, what is rock? An aggregate of mineral which form the earth crust is known as rock. What is earth crust? Earth crust is the portion of earth up to 20 km depth in surface is known as earth crust. Then the types of rocks. Types of rocks, these are classified into three main categories. The number one is geological classification, physical classification, then chemical classification. Then geoclassification, in which it is based upon the mode of formation of rock. Geological rocks are further divided into three rocks. These are on your screen: igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, metamorphic rocks. First of all, I going to explain the igneous rocks. Igneous are the rocks formed directly by solidification of molten material either inside or on the surface of earth are called igneous rock. It means magma, the earth is inside is very hot, the molten magma are always there. Some weak portion of earth is there, then some magma is come out from that surface, then it solidified outside or inside where it is solidified, that is called igneous rock. There are, it is also known as a primary or first formed rock. They are also known as unstratified or eruptive rocks. These are the same thing as igneous rock. Example of igneous rock: now granite, basalt, trap, etc. These are the example of igneous rock. How the igneous rocks are formed? These rocks are formed as described below. It has been established that as we go deeper, the temperature of the material of the earth goes on increasing. At certain depth, this temperature may become so high that the material may acquire a molten state. The material will come in the molten state. This molten material believes to exit below the earth of surface is called magma. And when this molten magma is erupted out surface, this is called magma, and when this molten material is erupted out of the surface of earth, then it is called lava. When it is inside the earth, then it is called magma. When it is outside the earth surface, then it is called lava. The magma can exist in a molten condition so long as its physical and chemical environment do not change, but whenever there is change in one or more of the condition like temperature, pressure, chemical composition surrounding the magma, it changes into the solid state in the form of simple or complex solid masses known as igneous rock. These rocks are known as intrusive rocks when formed beneath the surface of earth by solidification of magma such as granite. Then the magma along with other gases also moves from one place to another underneath the earth, and as soon as it finds a weak portion of the earth's crust, it comes out with great pressure in the form of lava. The lava so erupted out solidified due to atmospheric action, thus they are known as eruptive rocks. When formed over the earth by solidification of lava due to volcanic eruptions such as basalt and trap, these are also called volcanic rocks. How the igneous rocks are formed. This is a source of magma for formation of igneous rocks. This is a granite, phosphoric rock, this basalt trap. This is the way from the magma comes out from the earth surface. That this type of, here the magma is solidified, some inside the earth and some outside the earth. This is called lava. This is called magma. Magma is come out of the earth surface, then it is called lava. Inside it is called magma. Here is granite formed, the phosphor rock, then it is called basalt, traps it outside the earth. Outside the earth we can find out basalt and trap, and inside the earth surface we can find out granites. Then is second one is sedimentary rocks. The rocks formed by the consolidation of a particle of the pre-existing rock under the effect of weathering agencies such as wind, running water, glaciers, etc. are called sedimentary rocks. These sedimentary rocks, these secondary rocks are also known as stratified and aqueous rocks. For example, conglomerate, sandstone, limestone are extra the example of sedimentary rocks. How the formation of sedimentary rocks takes place? These rocks are formed by the process which describes below. Number one, distinguishing of pre-existing rocks under the effect of weathering agency. How the weathering agency are disintegrate the rocks. Here is the main rock. Here is the weathering agencies are water, wind, or rain. These are called the weathering agency. Or when the some water fell on it, main rock is break into the boulder, then break into smaller, and similarly it break to then similar smaller to and smaller, it become minimum size. That is called sand. That is called coarse sand. This is called bajri. This is called gravel. This is called boulder. This thing is a service due to the weathering agency. Due to weathering agency, the parent rock are disintegrated into boulder, then become decreasing. The size of rocks are decreasing in order. This is wind, cloud, sun. These are the weathering agency to formation of the sedimentary rocks. Then is metamorphic rock. How the rocks formed from the pre-existing rocks within the earth crust under the influence of variation in temperature or pressure or both are called metamorphic rocks. The existing rocks may be igneous, sedimentary, or even metamorphic rock. The metamorphic rocks so formed are having their original structure and composition totally changed. For example, marble, slate, igneous, these are the example of metamorphic rocks. How the formation of metamorphic rocks takes place. Metamorphic rocks are formed as described below. The pre-existing rocks within the earth crust do not change their state so long as their temperature and pressure remains unchanged. Whenever there is any change in temperature, pressure, or both, the equilibrium of the existing rock is disturbed and consequently change in texture, structure, and composition of the rocks takes place. This is take place due to the temperature and pressure. This process of formation new rocks is known as. This process of formation of new rocks is known as metamorphism, and the rocks thus formed are called the metamorphic rocks. Some example of metamorphic rocks are given below. Then marble changed with the temperature and pressure. Limestone, that is called, limestone is a sedimentary rock. Similarly, slate change from slate to shale, this is also a sedimentary rocks. Then third one, quartz, which is change from sandstone. It is all, sandstone is a sedimentary rocks. Then fourth one is igneous, change from change from igneous change from granite. It is, granite is a igneous rock. These are changed with the temperature and pressure. Due to temperature, these are slate, marble are changed into limestone and shales. These are called metamorphic rocks. This is the diagram how the metamorphic rocks are changed. Here is the mudstone. Mud, due to pressure and temperature, it changed from mudstone to shale. Then pressure and temperature of here similar changes, then it duration of time it will become slate. The process is also become reverse, slate to shale and mudstone is a circle are moving on. First of all, mudstone, shale, then slate to shale to stone, it become reverse circle also with the passing time. Then the transportation of disintegration in sedimentary, either in the solution or suspension of either places. Gradual deposition of sedimentary due to setting down of the suspended particle or precipitation of the soluble constituents. Compaction and consolidation of the deposit sediment either due to pressure or chemical action, that is cementation with material like silica, carbonate of lime, iron oxide, extra. This process of consolidation turns the loose sedimentation into hard masses known as sedimentary rocks. Then something tell about the chemical classification. In chemical classification, it is based upon the chemical composition of rocks. Chemically, rocks are classified into following three types. Number one, siliceous rock, argillaceous rock, calcareous rocks. What is siliceous rock? The rock having silica or sand as a major constituent are called siliceous rocks. For example, granite, sandstone, quartzite, these are the example of siliceous rocks. Obviously, granite is a igneous rock. Then number two, argillaceous rock. Argillaceous, the rock are those rocks which having major part having alumina or clay, as their major constituent are known as argillaceous. Due to it has contain more clay soil, that is called argillaceous rocks. They may be hard like slate or soft like a mudstone. Then is calcareous rock. Calcareous rocks are those which major constituent is calcium carbonate or lime. That is it is called calcareous. That is why it is called calcareous rocks. For example, limestone, marble, conker. These are the example of calcareous rock. Was limestone is a sedimentary rocks. The chemical classification are three types: siliceous rock, argillaceous rock, calcareous rocks. Then the general characteristic of a good building stone. The following characteristics are considered while making selection of a good building stone of different engineering works. Number 1, appearance. The stone to be used for face work must have a uniform pleasing color. It must be free from cavity, cracks, flaws and particle of loose and soft material extra. Then second one is strength. A good building stone should have sufficient crushing strength to withstand the load of a superstructure in general. It should not be less than 1000 kg per centimeter square. Third one is hardness. Hardness, toughness and resistance of abrasion. The stone to be used in stair pavements as railway basalt, road metals. Road metal means the stone which are used for making the roads is called road metals. Must be sufficient hard, tough and resistance to abrasion. Abrasion means friction. That is, it must be also resist the wear and tear. Wear and tear. If the stone are good in wear and tear, it will count in a very good stone. If wear and tear is very low, then it is called not a good stone, or it will be not a useful for engineering works. Then is a durability. A good building stone must be durable enough to resist the effect of weathering agency. Weathering agency, that is rain, wind, temperature. These are called the weathering agency. It should have fine grained, compacted and crystalline structure. Then texture. A good building stone should have a close grained and compacted structure. If it is loose, then the stone is not good. Then it is workability. Workability. The stone to be used for ornament, carving and architectural appearance should be easily and economically dressed. If it is not economically dressed, then it not proper workable, then we cannot do the ornamental carving on the stone. Then appearance of the building is also dull. Then seasoning. Seasoning means to dry the stone. The stone to be used in important interior work should be well seasoned. Presence of moisture, curry shape makes the stone soft and it is liable to be easily decay when used in a structure work. Then porosity. Porosity means to percolate the water to the stone. That is called porosity. A good building stone should be less porous. It should not be absorb more than 5% of water. Total, जो suppose करो, अब suppose the weight of a stone is 100 kg. It not absorb then 5 kg water. If we absorb more than 5 kg water, then the stone is not good for building works. Any stone absorbing 10 of water are rejected. If the more than 10% water are absorbed by the stone, then the stone is rejected. It's not good for good buildings or building works. Then it is resistant to fire. A good building stone should be able to resist high temperature. Its mineral constituents should have equal coefficient of expansion. Then specific gravity. The stone should be used on heavy engineering works, docks, harbor. Gravity dam extra must have high specific gravity. In general, it varies from 2.4 to 2.8. It means the stone is heavier than water 2.4 to 2.8 times. Then resistant to electricity. A good building stone should be non-absorbent like marble, so that it cannot offer good electricity. Offer good resistance of electricity. Then the physical classification. It is based upon the physical property, structure, arrangement of the rocks. Physical rocks are classified into following three types: unstructured rocks, the rocks which do not show distinguished sign of layers and cannot be easily split up into layers, are called unstratified rocks. Example, granite, basalt types. These are the example of unstructured rocks. Then second one is stratified rocks. These rocks which show distinguished sign of layer can be easily split into the layer is called stratified rock. That is sandstone, limestone, extra the example of stratified rocks. Then foliated rock. Foliated, the rocks which can be split up into the thin sheets are known as foliated rocks, such as slate, stitch. These are the example of foliated rock. They rocks have layers in it. When the sedimentary rocks are formed by the mechanical action of transportation and composition of particles spent weathering agency, they are called mechanical. It formed by the chemical action by decomposition, precipitation, and crystalline of particle. It in a solution of derailing weathering agent. They are known as chemically formed rocks such as limestone. The sedimentary rocks formed by the activity of organism, plant and animal are called organically formed rocks such as limestone or coal. Table showing selection of stone from different engineering purpose. Suppose building in hilly station in journal, granite, sandstone, they are easily available and cheap available in the hilly area. Second one, journal building work, that is wall, foundation and superstructure. We use sandstone. It hard. Why we use it is hard and durable. Third, high class building, face work, carving, ornamental work, statues and architectural beauty. We can use marble or sandstone. They are soft, even grain. It can be easily cut into the required size and shapes. Then arches of building and bridges, we can use sandstone. It is durable and lighter than the other stones. manufacturing of lime, we can use limestone. It can be limestone. Then I will tell about the mineral. What is mineral? A substance having definite chemical composition and molecular structure is known as mineral.